Goeiedag. Good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Well, the world of Eskom and our friend Mr. Fuckamane is imploding. After this intro, I'm going to show you a still image of a substation in Wiltshire Road in Pinetown, which has exploded dramatically, like the one in Vanderbijlpark. The one in Pinetown exploded yesterday in similar fashion. And apparently most of Chatsworth, Pinetown, North Dean and Marion Hill are today without power as a result. We know Vanderbijlpark is in the same dilemma right now. Okay, so let's get on to the actual substance that I'm getting back. Now, first of all, I want to thank Brian for providing me the information on the Pinetown explosion of the substation. And now I'm going to just read out what I've got by email from two very, very trusted informers. And the first one, who I'll just call A, says, I'm not sure what you know about the coming blackout, but sources have said that it will be deliberately done to begin with the purge, so avoiding the elections entirely. Now, remember I talked about a state of emergency that's been planned by the ANC, and I suggested it might be the universities. It could well be that Fuckamane and Eskom are going to be the trigger to create a state of emergency and just cancel the elections. Anyway, A goes on to say, I'd rather just have people prepared because many won't see it coming due to the focus on elections. People need to get their chronic medications in advance as well as fuel and food. Also, they have to have a plan in place for safe havens. I know this sounds a little dramatic, but the tactical teams are expecting this all to go down around the 31st of March and the week leading up to it. If it happens and we don't say anything for fear of creating panic, I don't know if I could live with myself if I didn't say anything, which is exactly the position I'm in. And then she says that V, I'm just going to call her V, V knows who she is frantically sending emails to US senators. If you have a way of getting this out without creating panic or backlash, if this doesn't happen, that would be great. And look, I'm very happy to put this out on video because I think this is urgent, and I think that the world needs to know what is going on, because clearly this is either gross incompetence, which I can understand with Fuckamane at the helm, or it's something that's been staged. Now, this is an email I got from V, and she got some information from a fellow who's very close to the action at Eskom, and he says, this news I just received from someone, and he says the power station at Vanderbijlpark, which is the one that I had an earlier video on where it all went pear-shaped, burned out on the 12th of March 2019. This is clear evidence of Eskom's bad maintenance plan and years of corruption that took place. Now innocent people are sitting in the dark without power, and that may take as long as 6 to 8 weeks to repair the damage. 6 to 8 weeks without power. And the same thing now in Pinetown. In a fracture of a few minutes, millions of rands of damage were caused in this once state-of-the-art and world-class substation. And it apparently is happening all over South Africa now. And you look what's happened with Pinetown. And that image is coming very shortly. Okay. And this is in Afrikaans. Look, my Afrikaans is not great, okay? So I'm going to read it in English, and I will actually put the actual Afrikaans translation in the description under this video so people can read it and correct me if my English is not great. Okay, I mean, if my Afrikaans is not great. Okay, it starts off by saying the substation in Curierylaan, Vanderbijlpark, blew up at about 1 p.m. on the 12th of March. Okay, and then it says that Kabels by lampposts first began to blow up, and then it went through to the substation. In the video, you can see the cables burning. You can see you can see that this happening in the Emfuleni-munisipaliteit. Okay, and he goes on to talk about the video again. Senekal are saying that something like 300,000 residents will be without power for several weeks now. Of course, now they've got to repair the power station, and knowing that Fakamani is in charge, this could take years. The damage as a result of this explosion is estimated to be 80 million rand. Now, remember, we've got another one in Pinetown that's coming up that I'll show you in a second. And then he goes to say, as a result of this explosion, he says, Senekal, there's now a problem with the water tower because they can't pump the water from the water tower to residents. And it looks like it's going to be several days before they resolve that situation separately. Senekal say that the crisis comes in a time when Emfuleni has a major financial problem with a leadership that is as corrupt as you can believe. The municipality is also under administration. You know, this just gets absolutely crazy. And then he goes on to say that the substation was probably last maintained in the 1990s. Oh, and he says this same substation also exploded last year, but obviously it was a very minor explosion. But at that time, they should have actually done a proper maintenance of it. Gert van Rensburg from Buco Buildware and Hardware says the power problem is critical, and it's explosive. And he says, and I'm going to say this in Afrikaans so I get it right. He says, "To sien en ek daar is rook en vonke no kant die pad," said Van Rensburg. And what he's saying is that when he went past, there was fire and smoke and just complete confusion going on. The explosion sounded like the Third World War, Van Rensburg said. The Honourable Johanna and Bossie Stradom was also in the street and saw the smoke and the flames. She said, "It felt as if something life-threatening was happening, and my life was in danger. It sounded like thunder, just one explosion after the other." Senekal says that the R42 road should be shut, and the closure in Banana, Bopapalang, Umfangao, and Stefano Park is going to have a huge impact on several residents. All right, guys, look, it would appear that what's going on with Eskom is either gross incompetence, or it could be staged to bring in a state of emergency. And I will now show you the Pinetown substation going up in flames. And please have a great day, and remember to subscribe to be kept informed. And don't forget, I'll put the Afrikaans translation below this video.